Today, my friend Beth and I are helping wrap up a series called Out of This World. We've talked about what it looks like for us to live here in this world, while at the same time trying to live there, like people of heaven and people of God, and how sometimes it's hard to be a part of both worlds.
We've already talked about how living as citizens of heaven involves making some out-of-this-world decisions that go against what we might naturally want to do, or even against what most of the world is doing.
How many of you guys have trouble admitting that you were wrong? Me too. But this thinking got to ridiculous levels for me when I was a teenager. I literally thought it was impossible for me to be wrong. And I thought all the time that if everybody would simply do what I wanted, all would be right with the world. So one weekend, one of my best friends, Trent, invited me to spend the weekend at his house. And my dad had the nerve to tell me no. When he told me no, I looked at my dad and I told him, I wish I had Trent's dad as a father. I know, right? I knew when I said it that I had crossed the line. I actually couldn't believe I said it because I didn't mean it. But I had spent so much time filling my mind with the thought that I was right that it started coming out in my actions and in my behaviors. Because that's what happens, doesn't it? What we think about eventually determines what we do.
So if we want to live in a way that's out of this world, that honors God and brings a little bit of heaven to earth, then we need to start thinking about what we think about. That sounds weird to say, doesn't it? You're probably thinking, I can't decide what to think about. Who even knows where thoughts come from? They just appear.
It's true. It's not easy to control our thoughts. It seems like they just kind of run wild and we're just along for the ride. But does that mean we're helpless? Should we just give up trying to control our thoughts? No way. If what we think about determines what we do, shouldn't we try to get a handle on our thoughts? I think so. But how? Well, the Bible actually has a ton to say about how important our thoughts are and how we can learn to control them.
Let's take a look at the same letter from Paul that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks. Remember, Paul was writing this letter to a bunch of new Christians who were trying to figure out what it meant to follow Jesus in a world that didn't. Philippians 4:8-9 says, "And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing." This is the end of his letter. When he says he has one final thing to say, he's saying we should probably lean in. Maybe he's saving the most important thing for last. Paul doesn't want what he's about to say to get lost or skimmed over. Check out what he tells them. He says, "And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true."
Wait, fix our thoughts? You mean we actually have some control over what we think about and what we focus on, what we allow to fuel our attitude and our actions? Yep. And this isn't that surprising. Paul is talking about focus, and I know you can do that. Whether it's the final play in a big football game, or a really funny story your friend is telling you, or that guy or girl you're crushing on, you know how to focus. And so did the people Paul was writing to. Paul, though, is trying to tell them what they should focus on. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise.
Wait, what? What planet is this guy from? Does that mean I have to think about puppies and lollipops all day? But as we all know, not everything is sunshine and roses all the time. He's obviously never been to my school or lived in my neighborhood or heard the conversations that my friends are having. And he's definitely never read the comments sections on YouTube before.
But Paul isn't telling you to shut your eyes and plug your ears and pretend everything is good and wonderful. He's not saying that bad things and bad situations don't exist in our lives. He is just saying that in everything, no matter what, we have a choice about what we think about. We get to decide what we focus on. We choose what we fill our minds with.
So Paul is telling us to grab hold of anything good that you can. Anything that is true or honorable, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or worthy of praise. Take those things and focus on them. Think about them. Let them become the fuel for our minds, because remember, what we think about determines how we act.
The truth is that we just have way too much trash in our heads, don't we? I mean, some of it is our fault, and some of it isn't. YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Netflix, the conversations we overhear at school, we're exposed to a bunch of garbage all the time. And sometimes we can't help but overhear it. But other times, we go looking for the garbage. It doesn't matter if the garbage got here by accident or on purpose.
The point is, our minds are probably filled right now with stuff that's not good. No matter how well we think we're hiding the stuff we're filling our minds with, the truth is, we can't keep it hidden forever. Eventually, what we put in our minds will affect the way we live and behave.
So, if we want to live as good citizens of both here, earth, and there, heaven, if we want to make God visible here on earth, then we need to take a serious stock of what we're hiding away in our heads. Because chances are, we probably need to take out the mental garbage.
What if you actually did this? What if the next time you found yourself looking around the internet, you asked yourself, what is true? What is honorable? What is praiseworthy? What if the next time you heard someone gossiping or talking trash, you thought, what is right? What is pure? What is admirable? What if you thought about what you thought about?
That is out of this world thinking. It starts with your thoughts, and your thoughts affect your actions. In the world thinking says, think about whatever you want to think about. Who cares what you fill your mind with? But out of this world thinking says to focus on what is good and what is true.
So, here's what I want you to do this week. I want to give you an easy way to think about what you think about, using the word go. When anything happens in your life this week, any circumstance, instead of focusing on the negative or the fear or the worst possible outcome, just think about the word go.
Go stands for gratitude and others. First, no matter what happens, think about gratitude. Choose to be thankful because your attitude is always your choice. Then, think about others. Think about who you can encourage or who you can pray for or who you can help. Whether you tell them in person, send them a text, or just pray for them, you can turn every situation into an opportunity to think of others before yourself, just like we talked about last week.
If you want to live a life that is different, a life that honors God and brings a little bit of heaven to earth, then it starts with your thoughts, because your thoughts affect your actions. I promise you, if you think about what you think about and choose to put good stuff into your mind, your thoughts will change, your life will change, and you'll know God better. Because out of this world thinking changes what we do. It's go time.